in the Arctic, Inuit people who have endured so much are now suffering from something that's beyond their capacity to control, and that is the warming of the environment. This is a photograph I took in the northernmost inhabited community in the world, Inuit in northwest Greenland, the one society in the world, in the Arctic world, that has maintained the exclusive use of their dogs. It's a perfect example of this fusion of the modern and the traditional. If you go to their village, you'll see beautiful little Danish huts, you'll see DVD players, you'll see a great health clinic, you'll see a good co-op store. The one thing you won't see is a skidoo, because if people in their wisdom understood that the cultural pivot, the fulcrum of their culture, was dogs. Not only did dogs allow you to be freer of the cash economy, to move through geography, but more importantly, the act of teaching children, boys and girls, to use the dogs, to know the dogs, was the glue that held their culture together. So it's not the traditional versus the modern, it's the rights of people to choose the components of their lives. So Connacht has roughly 1,500 people and 30,000 dogs. But they move across the ice, but now, of course, the ice isn't there anymore. The ice that used to come in September and stay till July is now coming in November. It's gone by March. And one of the things to think about climate change is, for us, it's a technical problem, perhaps a scientific problem, an issue of mitigation. But for these societies that believe that they are responsible for the well-being of the Earth, it's a deeply psychological problem. Because if the Earth is not well, it's their fault. So, for example, that ceremony I told you where they take the crosses to the glacier, I didn't tell you that the ultimate gesture of that 3-day ritual is to chip blocks of ice to take back to the elders in the community who can't make the pilgrimage. But seeing the degree and the rate of recession of the glaciers, the people have decided on their own no longer to do that, even though it's a trivial amount of ice, because they think they're responsible. So what you're seeing around the world is that climate change is becoming a deep psychological problem for these people. They don't see it as a technical problem, they see it as their fault. Whether it's in the high Andes of South America, whether it's in the Arctic, whether it's in the Amazon, everywhere you go, there's this intense increase in ritual activity as people throughout the world who played no role in the creation of this problem are taking responsibility for it in their own way, even as we who caused the problem are doing so little. And in the end, I just leave you with the thought that I think we need these different visions of life itself, these different ways of being, because for all of us, they become, in some sense, elements of the geography of hope. When Wallace Stegner coined that phrase, he had in mind not only the American landscape, but the spirit of free people to embrace that landscape in new ways. And what we need to do is embrace the realm of culture with a completely new dream of the human spirit. Thanks very much.